Welcome to week 4, day 3 of Nitro ASL, brought to you by ASL Nitro and powered by Quark from Clear Access. I'm your host for today, AR, and joined with me is the universally loved Altruism. How are you doing, brother?
Universally loved is the nicest thing someone said to me. And if you guys are here in chat for me, well, you're not going to see me for most of it. We've got the Fortnite action that everyone's actually here to see. But I still appreciate that, AR. We love you too, don't worry.
Sure.
But yeah, I love you, don't worry.
Nice, cool, thanks, I appreciate that. If you're wondering what this banter is that you're going to be sitting through for an hour, this is ASL Nitro, where over 500 students have signed up for multiple different game titles: Fortnite, Valorant, Rocket League, League of Legends, you name it. They are fighting for their points for Term 2 seeding, where they will be broken up into a Premier Division. I'm really interested to see exactly what happens, because today we have Fortnite for you, but tomorrow is a Fortnite update, changing everything on its head, which means that the next time we are here for ASL Fortnite, everything is going to be different, and these guys are going to have to adapt on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, we carry on with this next week, so it's not even like they have a long time to adjust to this, but we have seen it time and time again, AR. We started doing this together last year, and regardless of what update came out, what new items or guns or points of interest were added to the game, the guys were able to utilize that, adapt, and come through with the victory. We're starting to get some telltale people, you know, the names that keep cropping up week after week in this, and getting themselves that seeding, and that seeding is so important. We had over 300 people signed up for Fortnite here. This is a schools league, if you guys don't know. 300 students who've made time in their day to play the best Fortnite that they can. What that means is there are only a very limited number of Premier Division slots there. And that's where all the good prizes are. That's where all the best competition is. These guys are definitely going to want to push through that with the points that they've accumulated over these weeks.
Absolutely. If you guys want to get your schools involved, schools.acgl.gg, see if you can get your school signed up. Become the future of esports that we witness here every week, because it is every week altruism. And it's not just this one title. Every single week we have multiple titles over Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And come term 2, the action is going to be hotter than ever. But we are going to hop into the battle bus right now over beautiful chapter 5. One of the last few times we're going to see this type of map.
And I'm excited to see it, you know, and this is going to be an interesting one. Battle bus straight down the center means that everyone can take the positions that they want. We've seen the mixture, everyone congregating on POIs, people are completely ignoring the POIs and heading for the outskirts. We've seen zones shrinking towards the center, nice and balanced, and then some dastardly zones setting people off over cliffs, over water, and always makes for a very interesting end game. So looking forward to jumping into it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And things have been going ahead and heating up to the point where we are seeing a lot of action in the mid game. It's something that we haven't seen before on ASL. Last year, everyone waited until the final zones, the beginning few weeks of this, because we are on week number 4. The beginning few weeks, the action really picked up in the final zones. But as of just a couple of days ago, everyone has been fighting in that mid game, which gives us more action to watch. And speaking of action, we can actually see how many teams have landed at Lavish Lair, which is where we're spectating right now. And they want that auto shotgun and they want that medallion.
25 teams means that you have danger lurking around every corner, and like you say, people looking to take those fights early. It's so difficult to pick up those kills in that chaotic endgame. We're gonna see Frujuma? Man, I love these names, man. Coming through there, taking a good couple of hits and going down, but he's managed to get that first knock halfway through there. We swap across now to the western side. Going to be keeping with these teams in this. Edamel Seal, certainly a name that we've seen previously, managing to pick up that early confirmed kill. Chip a bookie there. Not long for this world, and going to be raised up by the team if they can find the space. I mean, this is a very outward lying position, and there is the reboot right there. I mean, whether you can take control of this, it seems like the teammate just rushing for the hills, and Tiggy not waiting at all to try and chase that down.
Absolutely, and we saw what we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks is these guys using items that haven't been used before in ASL. We've seen the invisibility being used so effectively And right there in that situation, in that elimination, we saw the EMP grenades being used to actually disable the vehicle, prevent any means of escape, and then using that shotgun to go ahead and get the eliminations. We move over to RNG No Mercy. Visuals inside, trying to get a beautiful little snipe. Unfortunately, did not connect. I believe just the bullet hit a little bit too low
Mm.
on the enemy. 24 teams still. Again, it's going to be very, very slow for this beginning part. Everyone on the outskirts, as we mentioned, looting up, getting their materials. Because if you are joining this for the first time, this is build trios. And you're going to see these guys do incredible things, incredible builds, edits, all on the fly, all while being pressured by opponents, and still making the most of damage and their weapons and managing to get kills.
Yeah, you know, that's a big thing that we chat about every week, and it's certainly come to the fore every time. I mean, this Anvil rocket launcher held by Grandmaster here has come to be renowned and almost terrifying for someone on the opposite side of it. The creativity that these youngsters are able to pull out with it, whether it's raining death from above or taking the floor out from underneath you as you're trying to get skyward with your bulls. It's been so nice to see that. But the rest of it comes down to those typical M's we talk about. Or, I mean, the beaming there doesn't fit into the M category, but it's going to be forcing Marisa to take a little bit of a backpedal as the team getting pressured now. There's no time wasted by their opponents.
Those shots could classify as M, making it masterful shots and masterful control of that weapon, as we see a little bit more coming through over on Grandmaster. 2 shield left all the way down. Has to go ahead and use that grappling hook to get all the way down the mountain now, leaving their teammate up top. Right now, you just got to play for your own just a little bit. You don't want to get knocked, especially if you're a duo. Leave your teammate in a 3v1 situation. We've seen how the numbers games have gone ahead and been the result of elimination for a lot of duos and a lot of solos. And clearly, they do not want that being happening this early in the game.
No, remember, position and kills get you points in this mode. And so these guys, even if they don't manage to take the fight that's not in their favor right now, they'll have a chance later and they'll get themselves back up. Talking about position, down to 22 teams. Still, Marisa and Grandmaster being chased to the ends of the earth.
Absolutely, and it does seem like the train actually has a few people on it. There are people just waiting over there, but we are going to move over to Lavish Lair, where we were earlier on the first initial drops. Right now, a team trying to get that mythic auto frenzy shotgun from Oscar the Tiger, as well as that medallion. We see Carl on the high ground, beautifully dropping down onto the tree. Stealthily playing Splinter Cell just like that. Stealth mode 100 manages to go ahead, hop in the tree, then a beautiful pump shotgun to the back of the head, getting an elimination.
Such a nice. You could see the game plan coming out there. Had the shotgun for that initial burst and then followed off with that SMG. Absolutely no chance for Dirty Cat to do anything. And the teammates now just having to head for the hills, trying to get that distance, using those grenades to be able to shot them across. Still, Paddy and Paris looking and has isolated one of the teammates. Going to confirm it there. Booger going to go down instantly there. So it's just a single member left. And we talked about that, picking up the medallion as well, one of those key items that's come out in the season 5. It gives everyone else an idea of your presence and your placements here, but it at least gives you the sustain that your team can utilize, and swapping it between each other is going to allow them to recover from this fight nicely.
Absolutely, that vault, high risk, high reward. You want to go in there, you want to get all the loot, get the best items that you can, but the high risk being that you can get held out very, very easily, as we saw over there. Luckily, though, one teammate did have shockwaves, managed to get a little bit of an escape. They are going to be on the run and hopefully try to rotate back and get the reboot cards, as we've seen consistently happen over these weeks. We move over to Bunny 44, farming up a few materials. Again, on the outskirts of the map, we see how many teams are actually over here getting hit very, very hard from the height. Now has to box up immediately and now try to take any sort of shielding, but the pressure is just too much right now. The opponent trying to push the walls very, very quickly. 1 HP. And unfortunately, it does go down.
Didn't have the mats, didn't have the meds to be able to try to take that, and with the numbers against you as well, try to buy the time so that the teammates could hammer in some damage, but they didn't have a lot of HP to work with. Teaming, the only one really with any sort of sustain behind them. You're going to be taking this as a hint to get out of here. They don't know where they are right now, so just going to close up here. Got some slurp, next to them if they want to top up a little bit for that long voyage, but maybe just hanging around waiting for the other team to clear out and then grab those reboot cards, because we've talked about it before. Having numbers at the end game, you cannot win. I mean, we've seen some people pull off miraculous things, but going into that final when everyone else is ratting it out as a solo or a small duo, having 3 members topped up is such a big advantage.
Absolutely, and we've seen how the numbers games in the end actually play off, like you mentioned. If this is your first time watching ASL Fortnite, let me tell you something. There's sometimes 14 teams in the final 3 zones. That's how hot the end games
Madness.
actually get, and you can imagine every single one of those players trying to find their own positioning within the new tiny safe zone. Gangster trying to sneak up on a riot shield user. Unfortunately, gets spotted out and gets shot at. 24 shield left, building up just in time to prevent any more shots. 164 with the pump. Trying to go ahead and confirm a knock. Unfortunately, getting shot from everywhere. And once again, the numbers game, we are seeing it consistently throughout this match. You don't want to be fighting 2 people or 3 people alone in this.
No. And while that initial burst of damage was good, the teammates just separated around the outside. It's nice to take these off positions, these off angles to try and confirm it, but the follow-up is just not there. Now it comes through, and Fury going to manage to get a knock there. Actually, I think it was Nathan. I assume you pronounced that like that. Nathan doing a good job of being able to secure it, so it gets things back up, but the opposing team is too close together. The res coming out straight away. They're bringing the third in there. Fury with some high chat, trying to hammer in damage before their opponents can really regather themselves. They've got them pinned, not really being able to exert too much pressure.
The one thing that you are going to see in Nitro ASL is how these teams are drowning in chemistry. That team playing so close together that they were able to go ahead and get the effective res very quickly. Now trying to put pressure on the opposing teams. Husky trying to build up. Unfortunately, just drops off slightly, and that might be beneficial considering that if you look at the map, there is another team close by. Manages to go ahead and crack the opponent on height. Kill feed right now is also filling up all over the map.
Wow, down to 21 teams, but 49 players. Almost every team having lost a member or 2 for now. That's going to make it difficult later. Still some time, and you can see once more we go into that very aggressive mid game. Like you said previously, we were sitting with 14 or more teams in the final zones, but now the guys are really getting bloodthirsty. The POIs and the advantages that those give them have just become a little bit too alluring, I feel they are.
No, absolutely. These guys have now realized that in that end game, when there's that many players left alive, and you're trying to go ahead fit into that tiny circle, there's not much chance of you getting kills. It's more a higher chance of you actually being eliminated in that endeavor. So everyone right now trying to go ahead and take as much fights as possible in the mid game. And hey, we love it. We get to pass that action over here. That's what we live for.
100%, right? I want to see gunfights left, right, and center. What it does do is you have to expend resources, whether that be ammo or healing up the chip damage. Hell, even your mats become important. And if you're spending all of that in the mid game trying to outbuild your opponents, that can come to your detriment at the end. We haven't actually mentioned the 5 M's, materials, meds, mobility that we've seen a couple of these guys picking up and utilizing charges quite early just to keep alive and avoid their opponents. And of course, the medallions and the mythics, those things that are high risk, high reward, but get you into such a good position and allow you to take the one-on-ones.
You know that extra letter over there does not start with the M, but we're going to label it anyway. The sniper's ever so powerful. That one shot dealing 116 to the chest, 290, I believe, to the head. It's going to do so much damage and give so much opportunity in any fight. Speaking of fight, we switch over to Keva over here. That's in a box fight currently. Opponent on the low ground. Suddenly just trying to watch out. There is flesh damage over on one opponent. Gonna stay on the high ground. We've seen how the high ground has resulted in so much wins. Unfortunately, Liam also getting shot at from the distance while trying to focus on the opponent below.
I like this, though. They've separated themselves into the team, sending 2 players in to be able to try and confirm any of the damage. And then, of course, Keva was sitting on that high ground. They've traded 1 for 1. Ricky going to get confirmed down as they manage to get the kill on the other side. It's up to Keva, who's now dropped down to join the team. Gets a nice pump shotgun in there, but takes huge amounts of damage themselves. Shockwaves out of there. Builds to carry that. and get some big distance, but has to right now. Liam also being taken down, and
my.
Kevlar confirmed there just too quick before the wall could come through. And it was that instant mobility. Tiggy's team managing to close the distance and just confirm the pressure that they exerted and turned on their opponents.
That clutch shockwave to get away from that box fight, but unfortunately the jump scare of a team on the combat cache just managing to get that elimination. And that third party, we've seen how third parties actually go ahead within ASL Fortnite. We always are going to see it, especially now in this mid game when everyone is deciding to go ahead and fight. There's one of those mythics that we talked about earlier on, that Hyper SMG is such a beautiful gun, and Dylan now has it all to themselves.
Yeah, this is a great position. Even though it's a duo, they're looking healthy. Their resources in the backpack are certainly something that you'd be happy to take into the late fights. And they're starting to get some kills behind their name. So pretty solid composition coming out here from FNC. They're going to have a little bit of time. So we're going to swap over now. Reckless Railways looking pretty hot. So this bottom southeast corner, though, two teams right next to each other. Blitz, Zero, and Volksy having the advantage. Takes out Marisa Gabet. That was our duo from earlier. Means that they've managed to stay alive for long enough. Even doing some damage, returning things around as Grandmaster. Grandmaster having to now run for the hills. Can he get another sneaky job?
I'm just going to mention this. If this is your first time watching this, Volksy, Zero, and Blitz are absolutely cracked at this game. One of the previous weeks, they had a combined, I believe, 20 kills. So they are definitely a force to be reckoned with within this. Their communications and their chemistry are so on point that it's almost terrifying to watch. And I'm really interested to see what happens with them in this game. But a lot of people are still up by Lavish Lair. You know, it's still the hotspot. They need to rotate into zone. There is 40 seconds left. It is only zone number 4, so still very, very lenient on the storm damage. But you know how the storm is, Alt. It never stays that way.
Yeah, for now you can certainly play through it. Shout out to Patty there for having the Jujutsu Kaisen skin. Absolutely love it. And everyone showing their metal right now. Aussie, we swap across to the teammate of Patty, sitting in a box trying to heal up, but they're being pressured too much. The Alpha God there, Tiggy and Seal that we were on earlier, looking to utilize these jump pads. And that's the one big thing about the jump pads. You might be able to use them to get out, but they're left there for your opponents. And Alpha God showing with that mobility that he's got full intent to go in, manages to confirm the kill, or at least the knock on Vertex. Definitely think that's going to get converted into a kill considering its position in the zone.
Seal unfortunately getting knocked in that action as well, but look at how quickly this team goes ahead for the double revive beautifully and dropping a medkit as well. Editing through now to protect the teammate. RG is going to go ahead and try to grapple up above building very, very quickly. Just trying to keep any sort of positioning. Is probably going to communicate that the res went off. Slayer as well pushing in, and these guys right now are trying to secure any sort of height on the opponents. Taking through the builds, currently trying to find exactly where they are. Shots going off from the high ground. Spraying through the builds as we always see. And this is the thing about box fights, Alt. If you really need to have that knowledge of how to actually effectively go ahead, take your opponent's wall and manage to get in there, because your opponent can just hold that wall forever, or at least until their materials run out, and wait for their teammates to wrap around you, get an angle on you, and you're in the bad spot of that.
Yeah, but I love what this team here from RHB is doing. They've managed to isolate so many different angles. While the opponents can hold one wall, you cannot hold 3 as they all crumble around you. And eventually RHB managed to come out there. They've got a good couple of kills behind their name, so they're setting up as well. We're starting to drop the numbers. Still lots of teams on the field, but 12 in this size zone is a more realistic number, a more logical number to me.
Absolutely. FNC Carter over here a little bit low, getting shot at a lot. Most likely just came out of a battle. You know how those battles make you sweat. That Flow Betty Fizz will water you back up and get your shields all the way up top. Right now getting pressured by another team. Tries to get the pump off, but unfortunately that opponent full-pieced them. There's going to be Chop Chick Bookie, who managed to get back into the fight. The team managed to get that reboot card, and we talk about that so often, Alt. You don't need to go ahead and push that fight immediately. You can strategically retreat, wait for a couple of moments. 300 seconds on that reboot card is a long time. You can go back, get your teammate back into the game, and strategically make your way into the end game.
And that's what we see here. Jaden and COD Ghost both decide to head away from the island. Obviously, a tense battle up there where they lost their teammates. And now they decide to head towards the hill. Hopefully, they picked up something that was worth it. COD having that invisibility in the background certainly very useful in the end game. But otherwise, a difficult place to play. And as we come and swap quickly across to Paddy, shots firing out. I assume it was Magi who managed to get that. Going to claim the medallion for themselves as well. Again, we're starting to see this team being a tenacious one when it comes to hunting down their opponents.
Magi has the dream loadout currently, a gold pump shotgun, a purple sniper, and Nisha's mythical striker assault rifle. That's all you could ever want in this chapter. 9 teams left within this 17 players. Make that 8 teams as Valksy gets a team wipe on teaming. The zone has moved all the way east of our current safe zone. We see a lot of the lake within the circle, and a gas station as well being the only building within what is going to be this new safe zone.
Buildings, natural cover, those walls that you don't have to waste your mats to get up. We've seen how good they've been in the past, whether it's a rock or even just a bush. But a building, certainly a nice one to have at your advantage. Who's going to be able to take that up, though, still yet to be seen. Thunder and Choc Chip Boogie setting up in a good position, being able to at least spot out their opponents and peek for some extra free damage if they can get it. They've got some nice sustain behind them as well. Those meds, that extra M that we talked about earlier, but showing a lot of patience.
Absolutely, and in that kill feed over there, Zero, Valksy, and Blitz did manage to get a few more kills. We talked about them earlier on. Dusterwing over here, only with that gray shotgun in hand. No, it's very, very useful. Has that purple SMG to compensate for it. The shotguns are still so powerful in close range fights. That SMG will do good for a little bit. 10 over here getting shot from the bottom. The floor getting taken by the opponent. I do believe that this is the team that we were spectating earlier that pushed that box. That you really like that fight over there, Alt. And right now you can see that they know exactly how to take those box fights by breaking the floor, managing to get the opponent on the low ground, confirming that kill beautifully.
Oh, that is fantastic. Now, however, their spot has been seen. They've been scouted out, and even though Josh taking a lot of damage is going to get taken out, in fact, the last hope for this phase side to stay alive. And Clicks, the last one from his team. So some big casualties going each way. The big thing is RHB still staying alive. Clicks going to be hitting for one of those reboot stations. He doesn't have a lot of time. In fact, that zone getting ever smaller, and now you can't afford to run out. So might have to just try and rat it towards the end.
Yeah, I'll say it again. The battles make you sweat, but that flow Betty Fizz waters you right back up with shield. We saw it happen over there for Clicks, getting full shield in a matter of seconds. And we move over to Chop Chip Rookie and the rest of the team. Just look at all these builds in the distance. Oh, wait, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, this is patience once more again. You know, with these end zones coming up there, 5 teams left. These positional points are big. And they just decide to hop back up, wait for their time to strike. They're letting everyone else waste their mats there. I mean, that is a next level for a youngster to be able to show off. But they're going to make their move, and this would be a decent time. Husky and AWAC going out across the open ground. AWAC, of course, with that invisibility means it weren't seen. But now they've taken a good position at the bottom. This is not a position that we often talk about being so good because, you know, you want to get hot. That's a natural instinct. But the shots from below, we've seen them work already today.
Absolutely. 5 teams left within this battle. 8 players. It's honestly the lowest amount of teams that we've seen for an end zone. This is zone number 8, which means a lot of that action happened in zones 4 and 5. This is an 8-tick storm right now. 17 seconds left on it. We can see exactly where the zone is going to be moving towards Ruined Rails. It seems like ever since that POI has changed a little bit, Fortnite Storm has been wanting to show us what it looks like, and the final zone is moving over to Ruined Rails. They have 3 seconds left before it moves in. Some team or some members trying to go ahead and farm up materials, others waiting patiently for the rotation and for enemies to come through. Some of them taking shots immediately. Who is going to win match number 1 for today?
I like the efficiency of getting those mats when you can, but I mean, look how many solos we've got here. Spiffy Shrimp looking to be the first casualty here as the trio charges them down, desperately trying to keep these builds up, hold it like you said, maybe even try and get an escape route out the back, is going to be able to drop down to the ground, builds up a little bit more, going to get some space now by the time until the third party can arrive, but taking a big chunk out. as they still try and achieve. That's a second chunk going there, 27 HP, and there's still no sign of relenting from their opponents, chasing them to the ends of the earth. And we're down to 4 teams. Poor Spiffy Sprit Shrimp would be the casualty here of the 4th team, and it is going to be confirmed. We've got our final 3.
3 teams, zone number 9, 6 players. And a lot of these members have the medallions, so I've just picked one up. Thunder hopping straight into a close 1v1. Unfortunately, that medallion on the opponent is going to prove to be a little bit of a problem. Thunder right now just breaking through. They managed to clutch that up. They managed to go ahead and eliminate Husky, and they claimed the medallion for themselves. Thunder is going to go ahead and take that medkit. Move over to AWAC and J-Dog. J-Dog going to heal up with some bandages. Decent amount of kills for all of these teams left over right now. They are just waiting for the zone to start moving, and visibility popped from AWAC. Right now, just trying to get that prime positioning for the final zone.
Oh, I love this. 2 duos, 1 solo here, and Clicks, the last one, wasn't able to get those reboots up there. Decides to take a sneaky position underneath here. Probably going to wait for the 2 duos to start clashing it out. Decides to head towards the outside edge. Gets spotted, gets tagged a little bit, but it escapes with most of the HP. I think he'll be happy about that. J-Dog not looking very healthy. Going to go down. Choc Chip Boogie going to be able to pick up that one. And Thunder and Choc Chip, the only duo still both standing. They've got some high ground. They've set themselves up for a great position. He decides to try and confirm it right here and now. Takes out AWAC, gets the kill on the other side and Clicks. And the duo just proving too much to handle.
Beautifully done once again. The numbers game coming in strong over there. A 2v1v1 situation for that end game. And one teammate focusing on the one solo while the other focuses on the other. 11 kills on Blitz in that game though. I want to point that out. But GG's over there to our first victors for our first match of day 3, week 4. Alt, any thoughts on this match?
Well, I'm glad you said a first match, because yes, guys, we are going to be back with a second. Don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to break this down a little bit more, but we will be back with more action. But yeah, AR, man, I mean, this is so interesting the way it's changing. Those end games are not becoming so much of a priority. We're not seeing people wasting too much time getting huge masses of their materials, of their mats, to be able to try go through there. They're going to a nice early drop point that's uncontested, picking up at least enough to start moving towards those POIs, and then utilizing what they managed to pick up at the beginning to be able to then contest any other team who might be having a similar strategy, or if it's open, that gives you a good shot at the boss fights.
Absolutely, I'm really enjoying the fact that these guys have realized that the end game gets so hot that they have to push on earlier to get that action out of the way, to get those kills. Once again, eliminations and placements do count for points. But we are going to get that second match prepared for all of you guys. Go get some snacks, go get some to drink, kick your feet up, because after a short intermission, we will be back with game number 2 for day 3 of week 4 of ASL Fortnite.
Yes, I think it should be, because it's the fastest growing sport at the moment, and I think it has a lot of opportunities.
Esports is like the future. Obviously, it has to be balanced out. We want to make esports more respectable.
One of the positives I've definitely seen is everyone's always really social. Like, some people are kind of like scared to open up, but then when you really get to know these people, you realize that you have a lot of common interests, and it's just very social. Like, even with all the competitiveness, and everyone really gets to know each other, really become like a brotherhood.
My goals for this year is to place top 4 in RLCS.
Personally, my goals this year, I want to be a more consistent person. As a team, I want our team to be able to communicate better.
Be dominant throughout the year. Last year we started off rough.
A lot of new people to esports this year with all the grade 8s. I want everyone to feel very welcome. I don't want anyone to feel like they're being kind of smothered out, like they're being talked over. I want everyone to feel safe and happy being where they are.
My favorite thing to drink? I am a Red Bull sugar-free fan.
My favorite drink is flavored water.
I don't know if chocolate milkshake counts.
Not vodka. I'm from Radio School, Morningside, Santon, repping it.
I'm from St. Mary's Waverley in Joburg.
I went to Northwood Boys in Durban.
I went to Danville in Durban.
hitting a 1v5 ace clutch in CS. Top tier.
Definitely USA last year. I was pretty new to the gaming scene, but I had a lot of fun and I loved how inclusive it was. It was a really, really cool learning experience.
Winning InterVarsity was my highlight.
From when I first arrived and we had nothing.
I'll be honest, it's grown a lot. So in first year, I remember we barely had anything, like no consoles, no room and stuff.
No equipment. And now we're sitting here with 4 PS5s where we actually have an active community. It has grown tenfold for sure.
I think already, I mean, just on the social media front, we've already been expanding there. We've got a lot more interest again from women, which has been amazing to see.
Involvement, a lot more like enthusiasm in people joining. And I've just seen us grow so much, especially the women being involved. I've seen a lot more girls signing up and showing a lot more interest, which has been really fun to watch.
So I came, there was an ACGL tournament. I went to the tournament, I played, I won, yes. I won the tournament, and from there I became a part of UCT Esports. So since then, we've purchased consoles, we've purchased PCs, we've built our esports room, we've built like the whole esports society at UCT is growing.
I'm hoping to take UCT Esports kind of to the next level. I think that there is a great space, especially for women in gaming, that I would really like to explore.
Probably to push inclusivity and push the women into the sport.
Well, for the club, I really want to just grow the women's team.
I think it can be quite intimidating as a woman to go into the gaming scene. But yeah, that's my goal, is to just sort of expand it a little bit more.
Yeah, my goal would be ultimately to do well at USA. So like the big tournament for us is USA, and it's a chance for us to showcase how far we've come, how good our team is compared to everyone else.
I started gaming from a very young age, from like waking up from a nap at like 11 p.m, going and watching my dad play Assassin's Creed, and then that probably kick-started it.
I think that it really is an opportunity to grow, to succeed, and to also meet new people and create a new community, which has been really cool. Yeah.
It has impacted people's lives in terms of academics. So when they come to like esports, especially on Fridays, like the FIFA players, we play the most. So when they come through, it's like after a long, stressful week of academics, it's a chance for them to de-stress, to like let go and just enjoy themselves playing FIFA.
You guys work on Rocket League too much. I don't like you for it. Just remember who's number 1 in FIFA. Just remember.
Mighties, you might have won overall last year, but we're coming for you this year, 100%.
We're coming for you.
Stellenbosch, enjoy second place.
Hi, we are the UCT Rocket League team.
Don't say hello like you're talking to your mom.
Okay, you take it.
No.
Go. No, it's too late. I'm done. I'm on a silent strike now.
daily basis. We got to speak to we got to speak to edit that in.
That everybody looks a certain way on camera. Behind the scenes, we're all awkward as
We're recording already,
I don't even know what I am. Can I start again?
Today we spoke to females. It's all we have. There's all these females on Twitch, bro.
From the beginning to the end, what's the English word?
My name is Ron for you, and I'm teacher one.
Okay, we have to redo that.
Wait,
You go.
Dude,
Wait, we are.
Someone can say the institution and one by
We're
one.
from UCT.
Okay, not when I'm talking.
But we must repeat your question.
Well, you can just be like, we're from UCT.
Oh, I see. You rephrase it.
Oh, we can't just say
Yeah,
UCT.
Okay.
Okay.
God, that's smart. Hey, that's good.
Yeah, so it's something you just talk.
That's
Like
good.
comprehension.
Like a comprehension, Nick. Right on the money.
Or something.
I'll do it. Must I do
However
it?
you want to do it.
You socially awkward.
Yeah,
Must I
you
do it?
do it, you do it.
In the team, I see myself as the backbone, the foundation. All the success is built upon what I provide.
Well, you guys got some snacks, you got something to drink, you got a nice comfy seat? Well, don't worry, you're only going to need the edge of it by the time we are done. We're here with the second round of ASL Nitro Fortnite, powered by Quark by Clear Access. I'm Ultrasm, that melodic voice, but the better one, all the knowledge, all that insane gameplay understanding came from me. AR, what did you think of round number 1? What are we thinking about round number 2?
Firstly, I think you're just trying to make me blush, but that action was insane. The mid-game heating up more than ever means that we get to see what these guys can really do under pressure. And not to say that those end games aren't pressured, but now they have to go ahead and manage their resources mid-fights, mid-game, then still go ahead and farm up right before moving to the zone. It's absolutely incredible. And game number 2 will start in just a few seconds. But if you don't know what this is ASL. This is the school leagues for ACGL, where over 500 students have signed up for multiple titles. Fortnite, Valorant, Rocket League, League of Legends, you name it. If you want to get your schools involved, schools.acgl.gg. This is just the beginning of the future of esports.
Man, every time you say that, over 500 students, the number of staff working in the background to make that happen, the passion from these youngsters, and it translates through to their gameplay. Every week we do this. 3 times a week we bring you Fortnite action, and then after that, all the other games slotting in, like you say, on broadcast. There's a production team that's going on here, and everyone bringing it to the fore to make sure that you guys get to see all these names that you are going to know so well in each of their respective games.
But you know what? The game is going to change very, very soon. In just a couple of hours, actually, I do believe. Tomorrow should be the new update for the new season of Fortnite, meaning that there's going to be map changes, new weapons returning or making its debut, old weapons returning, heals potentially changing on his head, movement changing. There's some leaks saying that we'll be able to fly in Chapter 5 Season 2. Wings was the word from the developer of Epic Games, so I'm curious to see how these guys are going to adapt to it, because this next season is going to be absolutely insane.
Oh, it's mad. Don't worry, all my shit showing me, and we're trying to figure out which of these Greek mythology characters it was. We've got Zeus coming out there, I know Aphrodite's in there, and one of the medical ones, don't know his name off by hand, was one of our guesses there, but very interesting season coming out there. So let's make this last hurrah count. We're jumping in there. Battle bus is in the air. Players already hurtling towards the ground. And we'll see. Lavish Lair sits there waiting. Green team making a beeline straight for that. Fencing Fields also looks to be very hotly contested.
Look at how many players dropped around Reckless Railways. That's an insane amount. I think that's like almost half the lobby. But Fencing Fields, home of that beautiful striker assault rifle. And Lavish Lair, home of that very, very powerful auto shotgun. Surprisingly, no one heading over to Peter Griffin. It's a sad day for Peter. Not getting a lot of action, not getting a lot of time on screen. But Keva right now has a gun in hand, sees an opponent landing. And going to go ahead and choose to loot up just a little bit more. A little bit of a struggle getting through that window. Sometimes the mantling doesn't always work, but manages to do so. And now he's going to farm up as much materials as possible.
broken game, basically unplayable. Just because mantling does. No, of course not. I mean, the complexity that these games are offering lately is amazing, and how well these youngsters are able to adapt to it is really the highlight of this to me, as they take refuge next to the slurp truck, trying to get everyone in there, waiting for next bet. But everyone else, pretty happy to just trade the shots going out there. I see Mr. God taking big damage. In fact, damage across the board. The health bar is absolutely disappearing in front of our eyes. But Mr. God managed to get some distance there. Is at least going to be able to heal up a little bit, assuming that his opponent's not going to be able to thirst him down.
And we do have a couple more players in game number 2. We started over with just over 70, I do believe. Moving over to Grand Glacier Hotel. 3 HP on Thunder is not a good look immediately, but that beam with that SMG is fire to watch. Grand Glacier Hotel, obviously the home of Montague and the Nemesis Assault Rifle. High recoil, high damage. It takes a lot of skill to use, and it seems like a couple teams really want that gun, really want that vault, really want that medallion. As we keep mentioning over here, the M's of this current season.
Yep, 100%. I mean, I can understand it with how chaotic these end games are. Having the mythic like that in your backpack is huge. Someone's going to show themselves for a split second, and you can do huge chunks of damage. So certainly something worth fighting over there. But the rest of the field pretty much split up. I see enough teams close quarters that's going to give us a nice exciting mid game as we head back here. Thunder has managed to at least get some HP, but Fishy Hopper is still trying to join the battle.
And my favorite thing about this is seeing all these names that we know. We recognize these players, we recognize their talents, but it doesn't stop there, because almost every single game there's a new name that we haven't seen, new talent showing through, and maybe you guys out there watching want to be part of that new talent that we view over here on ASL. So go ahead and try to join it. But a lot of action going down. 62 players left within this game. We've lost 10 so far. 23 teams. And everyone's still playing it slightly slow. A little bit of action here and there. But for the most part, the strategies stay the same.
Yep. Anvil sitting on the ground there. Not going to actually be taken by anyone here. Their third for this match. They're going to be able to at least give a good amount of money. A little bit more loot would be, I think, the name of the game for them right now. So we go through down to the fencing fields. It seems like FaZe has already taken a casualty.
Yeah, make that like a bunch of kills already. 4 for FaZe Kian in the early game. And they have fencing fields to themselves right now. They can go ahead, get this reboot off. And then go ahead for that boss, for that medallion, for that best mythic in-game. And beautiful builds coming out. Quick builds, man. I wish I could build like this.
This is why I don't play this game as often as you, ARs, because I've already reached my limits. I know what I can do, and just watching this, it astounds me every time managing to get those and being able to build like this halfway through a fight, being able to get reses on teammates, as this team is trying to do right now. It's the big play. Thunder, of course, taking that ever-aggressive positioning here. Editing his team back into a safe spot there. Does decide to take a fight. Takes a chunk for his efforts. But as both of his teammates down here, has no option. He has to fight his way out now. Tries to jump over the top. Doesn't manage to get the beam. Instead, teaming Minkzo will be able to pick up the double.
Absolutely. Again, the numbers game over there. 2 of your teammates knocked. There's not much you can do in that 2v1 close quarter situation. Especially when most of those walls are your enemies and you can't edit them through, or all you have to do is force break them, and in that situation you're just going to get pressured into a corner and absolutely get shotgunned. But we see Lavish Lair, teams moving over towards it. Going to see if there's a little bit of action. Carter sees an enemy on height, going to go ahead and strategically break the floor, dropping them into the building. And just like that, they are going to slowly move up now. Carter does not have any shields though, unfortunately.
Doesn't need it right now. Decides to give it off to the teammates. We're in with Dylan. What Dylan? The Dylan. He's managing to take a percent. Okay, so I heard that snigger there. That was... You gotta deal with my jokes. I guess hopefully Twitch chat likes it. That's why they like me better.
You know, that's fair. Maybe I should make some dad jokes as well.
I don't even have kids. That's the problem. I'm a bit of a faux pas. So we carry on. Fortnite action. That's what we're here for. And certainly this Dylan side have managed to get into the vault with modding up their weapons. That's the sort of intuition that we like to see and setting themselves up for exactly the end game they want.
56 players left within this, 21 teams. As we move over to RHB action, we've seen these guys in the previous game, and they are going to hop in a Mustang and potentially chase down the opponents, shooting at the vehicle, not realizing that the opponent is strategically hiding in the bush on their right. They are going to drive through thinking that they're behind the rock, but maybe they will circle back. They hop out of the car, not realizing the stealth.
The turret!
The turret goes down, seeing enemies on the mountain as well. The ultimate high ground, taking some shots, actually hits for 24. But in this situation, you're not going to hit much shots with that unless you have a sniper. Speaking of sniper, Clicks does take a shot, but unfortunately no more ammo. But hey, there's the sharing and caring of the teammates, Alt.
I like the efficiency. You know, while one person's putting pressure on the other side, someone's now going with those flowberry fizzes and getting up the heels for the squad. Like you said, though, those are just almost to pad the stats a little bit. You're not going to be able to pressurize your opponents. Even if you do manage to get them up there, they'll be able to get the res before you're able to close that distance. And so we just end up with a little bit of a face-off. Now our team from the mountains, though, they decide they want to seek some retribution for themselves. They've got Mist here on the high ground. The rest of them, I mean, coming out from Oosmoed, I believe that's Oosmoed. OM is Oosmoed. My apologies. As we see the ghosts of this team taking off their position on the train.
Dylan with that shotgun clearing the train. The train is such an underrated thing on the map. I'm going to say it right now. You can get so much loot out of the train just by constantly hacking that little box in the front. Who knows what's going to happen with the update? Will the train stay? Will this infinite loot glitch be in the game for all these players? Only time will tell us, but right now Dylan and the rest of the team are enjoying the free movement.
Yeah, it's really nice, and if you look, it's just going to go skirting out into the outside edges of the zone, but it's going to come back fast enough that either they want to just brave the zone for that entire duration or hop off and come back on straight away. So we're going to give them some time to work their magic as we go back to our HB. I think this is Rondebosch, but at this stage, I really wish these teams, guys, if you're watching, put on your tags. We want to know who you are. We want to shout you out. Right now, we're going to have to just settle ourselves with the fact that it's RHB, Evan, Clickslayer, and Mudgy being patient, waiting to see where the builds come out from their opponents as Mudgy makes a sneaky little play underneath.
Absolutely. We want to give all these teams and all these players their own and each individual glory, and the tags would help with that. But for now, we're going to call out your current tags, your current names, and Clickslayer right now looking for any sort of shot, building cover from height. And EVN, unfortunately, doesn't have a good angle on the enemies. Maybe now they will as one pushes into the builds. Mudgy on the low ground and going ahead and taking a few minis. Has to heal up. No more heals after that, though. Only weapons upon weapons. And it seems like RHB right now have been forced to take a slower route of it. They were so aggressive in the beginning of this fight, and now their pace has been forced to slow down just because that team managed to take the mountain before them.
Yeah, 100%. And without the guns, I mean, the best thing that they've got is a blue weapon. Instead, they're going to have to rely on their positioning and their builds. They've done it now. Evan and Mudgy playing so close to each other, able to oscillate between who puts the pressure. I mean, even right now, Clicks joining the fight. They managed to take down 2 of their opponents. I don't, in fact, know if that's the entire squad. I believe it might be. No, there's still one person left. Yeah, comes the pressure from above.
Mudgy spelling death from above with that burst SMG, shockwaving and taking all the shots on those bulls. Looking for any one of those bullets to connect. Knows that the opponent is very close below, gonna bull down. And unfortunately, not being able to get any sort of angle yet. Teammates coming in, just spraying through the balls. We've seen how this ends, and just like that, it ends in a wipe. Mudgy getting the kills over there, and they are sitting on a decent amount of kills as well.
Brilliant play by them. Slow, so methodical there. That patience that we've talked about a couple of times. They had the distance. They got that little bit of an edge in the team fight, and then they close the distance. They get people working up underneath while one person hammers in the damage from far distance. And then when they see that people are rotating or that they've separated a little bit too much, they find that isolated target. So now swap across to another team doing well. At least Dylan's doing very well from this team. They've lost Cole for now. They're at least trying to get some of their own back. They're taking on Jedi Tex, Mystic God, and Nathan.
Absolutely. The zone adding pressure on there. Nathan is going to go ahead and get heavily damaged. using that crash pad to go ahead, get some sort of movement moving towards the zone. Man, how these guys use that crash pad so effectively, I'll never know. It never works that way for me. Jedi takes, unfortunately, as the attempt to take that crash pad, the crash pad disappears and gets shot from behind, resulting in the knock. Now Mystic
Mid-air
God.
there.
Mystic God.
Like that, yeah.
And Nathan now just having to rotate the zone. That card is going to be deep in the storm, Alt.
Yeah, and so we gotta give them some space looking for that escape, and right now another one looking for escape. Frujomu from our previous match finds the business end of an assault rifle, gets confirmed instantly. An awful Raptor, the last one left from the squad, only one without any kills behind their name, is already making trails in the Octane for the hills.
16 shield left on Awful Raptor, just choosing to go ahead and play for the endgame as Island is about to spawn. Reckless Railway has a bunch of teams around. Potential action with that zone pushing in is going to result in so much pressure on these teams, choosing whether they have to fight. And even right now, choosing to fight does a lot of damage, gets cracked in the process, is going to go ahead, confirm a kill, but gets shot from the right. Now calling out exactly where the shots were coming from as Margie drops down low, edits a window and chooses to go ahead and get the revive. Clickslayer on a slight high ground looking for where those shots were coming from. Spots one in the distance and hits a 27. But unfortunately not enough damage to go ahead and start any push. And you have a teammate that needs to go ahead and have a little bit of a reset.
Yeah, again, it's that good team awareness of what each of your roles are. One person going for the res, the other one takes up that overwatch position. Just make sure to spot out anyone trying to push you, put pressure around the other side, makes your opponents hesitate for a second and gives you the space that you need. So teams working well together and managing to at least maintain that trio that they're going to need. But here we're going to see people dropping. We're down to nearly half of our teams here. And I get a feeling we're going to have a much higher body count by the end of this clash.
You know what's something that we don't talk about often over here, Alt? It's consistent because we don't really see it used that much, but right there we actually did. These teams have to also manage their gold so efficiently. There was a team over there that tried to use the vending machine to get any sort of heals, but didn't have enough gold and had to rely on the teammate to actually buy those medkits. So it's something that we don't really talk about because we never usually see it, but it's still very, very important.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another one of the benefits of getting those vaults. There's so much gold in there. It gives you the advantage to not just get stuff right then and there, but later in the game when you need it. Here comes the action. We see people ziplining across there. Zenande trying to find an angle on some opponents, putting themselves in quite a dangerous position considering the number of third parties that could be opening themselves up. But teammate there, Toasted Chris, going to be able to get a nice kill on J-Dog. Going to take their loot as well and heal back up. The fights continue across the board.
This is what we were talking about, the zone or the opponents. You got to choose what you want. Do you want to take so much damage and risk getting eliminated? Or do you want to be hungry for those kills? And Magi is hungry for those kills. Goes ahead and confirms Himothy immediately. And Clickslayer on the bottom right now, trying to just rotate to zone. Evan putting a lot of pressure on that high ground. And Clicks is actually going to get the vehicle before any enemy can take it for rotation.
Very nice play there, doing well to spread that load between the team. Everyone getting kills. On this side, though, Carter going to have to try and get his team out of a dangerous position. Gets the knock. And they confirmation on Zenande taking out that squad. We're down to 12 teams, less than half the people on the board. And the builds again, the speed that they're coming out there, securing themselves the space to get some heals back. Magi tries to take some shots. The people on the high ground, though, have such a good position. Look at it where it is relative to the zone and all these teams trying to come in.
Absolutely. They've got an angle on everyone down low. We can see them. So look at all the bullets being sprayed from heavens above. ASL and the rest of the team hears that rift and they are going to go ahead, try to spray at the person rotating. 36 wide on that player. They have no shields. Do you want to be aggressive and get that kill, or do you want to keep the high ground and they want to be aggressive? They have to rotate anyway into the zone as they have 18 seconds left on zone number 5. 12 teams within this, as you said, Alt, and the action is starting to heat up.
Carter, the last one left here, facing a duo, just decides to give themselves the best chance that they can, getting in that good solid build. But everyone patient on the other side, also taking the time to get up. This is our RHB side. They've lost Magi in the midst of the chaos. They still have a pretty good idea, I believe, of where their opponent is. Yes, they do. Finds the way around. Of course, that medallion giving away the position certainly helps out. So Click's going to be able to pick up another kill.
Absolutely, the zone moving towards the snow again. We've seen this type of zone consistently as we move over to Alpha God, who is in the little subway station. The rest of the team as well. The zone is this is a good position for them, for the zone actually as well. Not many people are going to check down here, but the rotations could be harsh, could be cruel the minute you get out of there. They are going to hop in a vehicle though and slowly rotate. We're moving over to Faye. Faye has that niche striker assault rifle, which is such a beautiful gun, so much damage in so little time. And next belt, marking the vehicle as well. We're going to see where zone is going to move to in just a couple of seconds. And this is going to be our halfway point for the zone. And it's going to go all the way down south to a frozen lake.
Yeah, good luck to these teams on the north side. And this sort of positioning now makes me really start wondering about how the teams are going to take up and who's going to get there first. You cannot afford to be out in the middle of the lake. There's a couple of nice mountains around, but not enough for certainly the number of teams. 10 teams left. We're halfway through the zones to be able to take this. And so our purple team here, Awful Raptor, just sitting quietly in a corner, the last living member there, closing the eyes, having a little bit of a meditation session there, just waiting for someone that he can maybe jump on top there. Spazinator is certainly not one to waste any time though. Spots out some opponents, knows that they're going for the reboot, and wants to try and confirm some easy kills.
Spazinator is potentially looking for the cheeky little down and kill on the teammate that just got rebooted. That would be bad news for whoever that is. Medine also moving along the side of the mountain. Spazinator is deep within this fight right now, keeping this team out of this out of the safe zone, holding them for as long as possible potentially. But they do have grappling hooks. They are moving very, very quickly, and they are taking shots. They are retaliating. They need to move very, very quickly right now. The zone is still fairly decent. Only 2 damage per tick. Nitrous Hulk is going to go ahead and avoid a lot of those shots. Does get hit towards the end of that. And now choosing to go ahead, build a little bit and rotate. Marine has that Flowberry Fizz that we talk so much about. And the zone right now is... The zone might actually claim a bunch of knocks.
Yeah. I mean, Spaz was pretty low down there. Notes are going to be able to pick off another one. That's the problem when you're running in from behind. You got to, when you're running in ahead with a team behind you, Nitro's getting taken down there. They try to put pressure, but eventually you got to start choosing which direction you're facing. Are you heading towards the zone and turning your back on your opponents? Whereas this back team was able to just keep them in their sights as they made the progress. They are going to lose at least one there, so deep into the zone, so much distance to try and keep up. Teammates there to try and make the res happen, but you do not have a lot of time in a 7-tick zone.
I think, unfortunately, in that situation, when that snipe went down, Spazinator did get knocked by that zone. Was unfortunately that low to where the zone doing 2 damage per tick was effective. As we see TJ and the rest of the team getting beautiful little eliminations. Look at all that loot for the team. Faye right now just trying to farm up a little bit of materials for this in-game. 6 teams left within the zone number 7. Awful Raptor still chilling in this building, waiting for the opportune moment to rotate and the opportune moment to try to get that top 3 or top 2 situation that they desire. But the rotates are going to have to come very, very soon with 7 seconds left on that timer.
Similar playstyle coming out from AWAC here. Lost J-Dog we saw there in the zone just previously. So it really is a tense situation with 6 teams left. It's enough space, at least, for them to still be able to avoid fights. But here we go to Dusty Wing and the rest of the phase, Josh, at 10. A squad that I've seen make roads in a couple of times. And they're making big moves now, trying to take the top of this hill. It's a great position for this final zone. With all 3 members alive, they're looking to get some kills as well as the pastement points they've already secured.
Absolutely, and they've got that launch pad on the top of this mountain as well. If they need to rotate, did not realize that an opponent was right there, heard the invisibility go off, tried to block off that jump pad, but unfortunately they managed to get away so beautifully. Can still see the trails of them in the sky. Clickslay unfortunately going down. I do believe that might be the storm, but that player that hit on that side of the mountain using that invisibility so effectively, taking that jump pad before it got blocked off and managing to make the great escape all the way down the mountain.
So close. See now Faye and the rest of the side boxing up in the very south of that zone. It's a great position for them to be in, considering where our next one's going to go to. These are starting to come fast and furious. They waste no time. They get the shots in with the awareness to still keep themselves safe from any sort of return fire. Put in the damage that they can. And hopefully they can let the tick damage come down from their opponents. Awful Raptor still sitting very patiently. Has the builds behind it. Could top off the shields as well if they need to. AWAC has a bunch of loot in front of them as well. Dusty Wing just trying to sit here to isolate Orphan. Using the time to get some mats up. 10 though. Mats not looking as healthy.
Absolutely. With 50 seconds left on the zone moving. Storm number 8. You do not want to be caught out of here right now. That is 8 damage per tick. As Dusty Wing and the rest of the team go ahead and a little bit of an engagement in the top 6 team situation. 10 and the rest of the team right now just trying to go ahead and wait for the opponents to push through. Look at the positioning that they have on the minimap for this zone though. That solo as well, rushing on the edge of zone, trying to get into the safety. But right now, they are just playing this extremely slow. They know that they do not need to risk anything just yet.
I like that, right? With massive clash comes up between two of our very few trios left fully intact. And while they're busy taking that fight, they get a nice crossfire going. They set up the walls behind them just in case someone goes through the door. A sneaky play coming out from one of our other trios. I believe these are the only 3 trios in the game. Tiggy and Animals, they do enjoy holding their position. They've learned from the previous weeks. They're coming back into it here.
Absolutely, even getting a lot of damage done immediately, and that is going to be the solo. We move into our top 5 team situation. Another medallion for Faye and the rest of the team. Awful Raptor still alive, playing this extremely well as a solo knows that no engagement wants to be taken, especially when no one else is shooting. You want to be that third party in this situation. AWAC right now popping that invisibility. We saw AWAC use that invisibility on the side of the mountain. But unfortunately this time gets found out immediately, and it's a 10-tick storm. You do not want to be caught out there. The builds making it very hard to escape, and unfortunately goes down to the storm. We are in our top 4 situation.
Had the medallion, so gave away the position there, and you just really caught between a rock and a tempest as the team takes him out. And so, like you say, top 4 now. Awful Raptor making a desperate dash towards the top of the hill. Has been spotted out, but the build's there to sustain for now. But the builds are going to be torn down, torn asunder. And Awful Raptor, despite the patience, is eventually going to be claimed by pure brute force effort there. We're down to our final 3.
The Alpha God and the rest of the team on a decent amount of kills. He's going way up high, potentially building a little bit of a sky base. Unfortunately, takes a little bit of fall damage over there. Gonna go ahead, pop of a flopper just to get the health back up. The Alpha God sitting on height, has that sniper that we talk about so much. 3 teams. There's the shotguns on next belt. Gonna go ahead and get that beautiful knock. And right now, just trying to find a way into the zone safely. 8 players left in this tiny zone. And TJ right now also spotting opponents, going ahead, getting a few shots of, unfortunately, no connections. Opponent right in their face. But the panic coming through potentially actually gets cracked in that situation.
Yeah, we've seen the speed that these shotguns can work. It really does just take spotting your opponent first. And anyone still gets taken down. Phase Josh gonna fall just as fast. We're really down to our final 2. Final 1 team. We have it. The trio comes through once more. Phase Josh being able to pick up the double kill at the end there. And a total of 6 kills for this team along with their positional points.
10 Dusty Wing and Josh getting that victory. And I think what actually resulted in them winning over there was that storm. We talk about third parties all the time. The biggest third party is that storm, Alt.
Yeah, that storm, and we saw how difficult it is to navigate around that at the end. As the zone becomes so small and builds litter all over the place, you can't edit through your opponent's builds, and so you kind of end up being a rat in a maze, just getting pinned in the corner. When you got 3 players chasing down a solo, there's just not much you can do, and that's why it's so important to time those fights in the midfield. You know, if you take a knock early on, we saw how many teams were able to get those reboot cards and get their team back up to full strength. But if you take a late fight, even if you come out the better there and knock all 3 of your opponents, if you're left with 2 or even just 1 person standing, that could be so detrimental. And time again, we've seen these teams coming in, working well together. The synergy, the chemistry that you were mentioning earlier has got to be the biggest champion of this match.
Absolutely, especially when the zone is that unpredictable, always pulling away from those reboot vans. You're not always going to get the chance, even if you have the cards, to go ahead and bring your teammates back into the fight in those end zones. So GG's to our teams that actually won both of our games here today. But that is all the time that we have, I believe, for Fortnite today. If you're curious what this is, this has been ASL Nitro. This is the school leagues brought to you by ASL Nitro and powered by Quark from Clear Access, where all of these school guys, over 500 students, go ahead and participate in battles along Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends, and Rocket League. And they're all playing for seeding currently for Term 2, where eliminations and placement points do count in Fortnite. And it's just for seeding all. Term 2 is going to hit, and it's going to be bigger than ever.
Oh, that's what I'm so excited for, to get to see some of these people who, consistently get it up into the top 5 or top 10 teams, some of them even taking some wins behind their belt. Then they're all going to be put into 1 or 2 lobbies. That's going to be where the action really comes out. We're going to see the best of the best crowned at the end of term number 2. But like you say, that's all the Fortnite for this week. I believe we've got some action later on. Just going to check with our production quickly. But otherwise, Overwatch this weekend, something very close to my heart. We've got the Overwatch tournament on Saturday, our first one of the year for these youngsters. So I'm excited to see what that next level looks like. That's what ASL does. That's what ACGL does. They bring you all this variety of the games. If you have a passion, they are here to provide the platform for it. So make sure you are chatting to your teachers, your principals, whoever it takes. Get all your parents to write fancy letters. You need to be involved in this. If you want to start your esports career, this is where it begins. Grassroots level, there's a university league after this, and then of course the pros at the top.
Absolutely. If you want to go ahead and try to get into this, schools.acgl.gg if you want to be part of term 2. But it's been me, AR, and Altruism here today, universally loved Altruism, and we have all the action for you. But we will be back next week with more action, and like Altruism said, Overwatch on this weekend. So for now, that is all the time we have for today. Massive W to our broadcasters in the background. Massive W to all of you for being here, watching this, and even going ahead and participating within this. But for now, that is all the time. Stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next one.